Be the math, see the math, model mathematics, hey! Be the math, see the math, model mathematics, hey!
Here are some things you can use, plus all the operations used. Tables, drawings, charts, and graphs, they can be used to complete the math.
Be the math, see the math, model mathematics, hey! Be the math, see the math, model mathematics, hey!
Model with mathematics, write out the math. Don't be so dramatic, you're on the right path.
Hey Joelle, see these tiles here? You can use them to model math.
Here. Model math? What do you mean?
You can use these tiles to represent a lot of different math situations.
What?
Don't worry, some 8th graders are going to show you how they use them to represent a sequence of numbers.
You know what? I'd like to see that.
They're also going to use something called repeated reasoning. Do you know what that is?
I think I got this. Reasoning is thinking, and repeated reasoning might be thinking about something the same way again and again.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's look at some 8th graders tackle some of this math with repeated reasoning.
And modeling.
Student's objective: to use the pattern to determine the amount of squares in the 5th and 100th staircase.
Here's Aya. Let's listen to how her models helped her reasoning.
How do you use repeated reasoning to figure out how many tiles would be in the 12th staircase?
Well, I counted the number of tiles in staircase number 1 and 2. Then I noticed that the number of tiles increased by 2, from 1 to 3. Then the tiles increased by 3, then 4, then so on. To go from staircase, pretty much what I thought about was to go from staircase X and Y, you have to add 1 more tile to X.
Here's Julius. Listen to how he thought of the numbers as pyramids. That's modeling.
Each of these numbers sort of represents a pyramid, with the exception of 1. So 3, you can sort of represent a pyramid in that 3 would form a pyramid, along with 6, 10, and as you get up to larger numbers, you may not be able to visually see it, but you'd know it's a big pyramid. I knew that you would be adding because I could just visually see it in the pattern. And even if you didn't know 5, you could just count the numbers in the pyramid, and once you have 5 or more of the same numbers repeating in a pattern, you can usually figure it out. So it's just +2, +3, and you're just adding 1 each time to the total number, and that's how I figured out the puzzle.
This next math whiz is Kendra. Let's listen to her repeated reasoning.
All right, so here's your model for the 5th staircase. And then here's your model for the 12th staircase. Can you use repeated reasoning to tell me how you'd get the 100th staircase?
Yeah, if we wanted to do it, we would just add more rows, and each row would be the number that the row is. Like, if we were to add, like, the 13th row, there would be 13 tiles in that row. And then to get the total amount of tiles used in the model altogether, you would add all the numbers so you would 100 together. So it'd be like 1 + 2 + 3 all the way up to 100, and that'd be the answer.
Awesome.
Alex used algebra to model his mathematics. See if you can follow his thinking.
To use algebra to model with mathematics, I wrote a very extensive equation. And I don't know if you want to zoom in on that. Okay, but how it works is I took a this area right here is a model of what one of the staircases might look like. So if I just use that, I can factor in all those different things. For example, the base, I notice, is always the number of staircase it is, and the tiles in the middle are always the base minus 1 times x, x being a Greek letter, which is theta, times b, which is the base, to show that each stair reduces by 1 tile. And the height is the same as the base, except it's -1, because you notice that the height starts 1 square above. And basically I factored all of those into this equation right here, and then I divided by all the things before they were factored, and I also added in just a staircase emblem to show what S is.
Awesome. Thanks.
So there you go. You saw a lot of modeling and repeated reasoning.
Hopefully this will help you get better at these 2 math practices.
See the math, model with mathematics, hey! Gotta be the math, see the math.
Be the math, see the math. Model of mathematics created by Willard Middle School students.
Write out the math.